A few weeks ago, I received one of the most powerful and impactful energy work sessions that I have ever experienced to date. I was going through a cycle of feeling a lot of fear and scarcity and confusion about my path moving forward. For those of you who don't know, hi, my name is Mika, and I'm planning on moving to London from New Mexico later this year. I look really tired. So, a challenge that I've been facing lately is just accepting that I am going to be living environmentally in a state of chaos for the next month or so, plus longer. As you've already seen, this is what my room looks like pretty much constantly because I'm moving, figuring out what I want to keep and what still resonates with me, figuring out what I want to donate, figuring out what I want to sell. I feel this chaotic energy surrounding me because my environment is just, she's messy. This whole moving process is making me realize how much I own and what I've accumulated over time, and to be honest, I feel kind of overwhelmed by it. On one hand, I feel extremely blessed and fortunate to have so many things beyond just simple necessities. Like, I truly am abundant in this way. And at the same time, I'm like, damn, girl, you have too much stuff. How have I gotten to this point, you know? So this is a wonderful opportunity for me to kind of reflect on what I want to keep and what I want to bring into this next chapter in my life and what needs to go. This move has brought a lot of stuff to the surface, not only in a material sense, but emotionally as well. Probably emotionally mostly. I realize that I have a lot of anxiety to work through about building a life for myself in a new country and being able to support myself and have a sense of independence. Because I was struggling so much, my mom, who is also an energy work practitioner, offered me a session which I took up. And the session that she gave me was NLP, Neuro-linguistic programming. And because it was such a transformative session, I wanted to share a little bit about it with you and introduce to you my mom. Hello, everyone! I'm now introducing you to my mommy, also known as Dr. Marga. Welcome, Dr. Marga, mommy.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself. You're a doctor, not just an energy work practitioner.
Yes, well, I've been trained for many, many years now. I'm practicing many years as a pediatrician, so that's my primary career right now. But I have, over the years, really grown to appreciate more the holistic methods of healing that do not involve medication or the use of drugs. And so I got certified in multiple modalities of natural healing, such as energy healing, neuro-linguistic programming, hypnotherapy, also life coaching, any other way that can help the mind and the body become more congruent to be able to achieve whatever goals you set for yourself.
And I have been lucky enough to receive a lot of the modalities that you practice. And the specific modality that I want to talk about today, which I've expressed to you has been one of the most transformative sessions of my life, is NLP. So what is NLP?
NLP stands for Neuro-linguistic programming, and this is the study of how we think and communicate both with ourselves and other people so that we can be able to achieve the desired goal that we set for ourselves. There's three components of it. First is the neuro. Neuro stands for, of course, the nervous system. So it's the mind and your sensory organs. It has to do with how you receive information and how you process the information and how you store it in your mind. That's including all the five senses. So how you taste, you feel, you see, you hear, the experiences that you have. Then there's the linguistic, which has to do with communication. How do we communicate the experiences that we've had? It can be through the words that we say, but it can also be through body language, or emotions that we feel. And then finally is the programming. And programming are the personal programs that we set in our head or we develop over the years based on the experiences that we've had.
Got it. So what do you do in an NLP session? Like, how does it work?
What makes NLP fascinating for me is that it can reset and not replace, reset the way we think of things. So for instance, if there were events in our lives that were very traumatic or that invoke really negative emotions or reactions from us, like it makes us want to throw up sometimes because it was so traumatic, or it gives us headaches, it gives us tummy aches, or the thought alone is so scary and overwhelming to us that we stop from going forward in the direction we want to go just because of the bad experiences we have. So NLP is a way to reset the way our minds think so that we can now let go of that heavy baggage and be able to move forward like with a refreshed start of our brains again. Because think about it, when we were babies, when we were tiny, and I see that in all my patients, we were all spunky. We were all so brave. We didn't let anything or anyone put us down. Try telling a 2-year-old, this one in particular, no. She'll do the exact opposite. It's like, no, I'm gonna do this. So there you came forward, you came in life with almost like a fearless ambition that you were determined to do it. You were gonna figure things out, that no matter what, you are gonna go ahead and do it. So it's kind of resetting your brain, the way you think and feel, towards that time in your life where you did not have the bad experiences that hurt you or upset you or traumatized you or gave you such awful memories. The process that I did with my darling is called Hesmipheric Integration. So this usually works best when there are two conflicting thoughts in your mind. Like one thought says, yes, I can do this. This is my passion. This is my dream. This is what I want to go for. But the other part of your brain is like the naysayer or the Debbie Downer who tells you, but it's unconventional. It's going to be hard. You're not going to be able to support yourself through this. So when there's a conflict of thoughts or, what you hear in your mind, this is a good way to kind of get them both together in sync so that there is no negative thought or negative thought pattern that keeps on resurfacing every time the positive you wants to move forward and go for your dreams and go for your goals.
What went down specifically in that NLP session? Like, what were the steps that really kind of helped me transform?
Well, we had to figure out which part of your brain was the one that was feeding you all this not so positive information. So we started off, if you remember, with a statement. Like when I asked you, when I think about success, I wanted you to answer for yourself. When I think about success, continue, how the emotions that come from it. And usually they come to me because they have a problem. So initially it was like, I don't feel like I'm good enough, or lots of negative talk that comes around, or I feel frustrated because I put so much time and energy, but I'm not able to support myself, or I feel that this is such a long process and I'm going nowhere despite all the effort and energy that I put through. So usually there's that story that comes through.
What I felt like in myself, what I can remember when you first asked me that question of what do you feel when you feel success, however you would phrase that, I felt useless. Like I just felt like it was a useless road to go down, and that I was kind of, I'm going to get emotional, but the word that I remember using was worthless. That's how I felt.
Made me cry.
But that's how down in the dumps I was about feeling this way and trying to make some traction on this path. It's been difficult for me, and that's how I was feeling at the time.
Yeah. And then I asked her, in her mind's eye, where do you see this vision most? Because sometimes you will experience it more like you can see it happening more in one eye compared to the other eye. And so I asked her which eye she was seeing this more, this image that she was talking to herself about. And she said it was her left, you said it was your left eye, right? Well, it was one eye. And so I asked her to cover that eye with all these heavy thoughts and emotions. Cover that eye. Let's say it was her left. So I asked her to cover her eye, and I asked her the same questions, exactly the same questions, with that eye closed, and see what images and thoughts came through. And sure enough, when her left eye was covered, the vision changed. It wasn't as heavy, it wasn't as dark, it wasn't as negative or depressing as it was. And so when she was in that state and she was seeing that vision, I knew that there were some, you could see really the discongruence between the both hemispheres. And so I had her close both eyes, and then I asked her to paint for me the most delicious, awesome, fantastic picture that she could conjure up. When I asked her the same question, when I think about success, and all of a sudden the words kept on flowing, and it was just so uplifting and inspiring and amazing and so fearless and so brave. And so we magnified that. I asked her, I was counting and asked her to amplify that feeling. And then I asked her to come up with like something that she would tell herself to remind her of that wonderful sensation.
So when we were in this state, it was really powerful for me because it seemed like I was able to connect to, with a lot of clarity, the truest and most authentic version of what it is that I wanted. And what I truly at my core know that I can achieve if I just listen to that aspect of myself more. But doing this, like visualizing success in this new way without these inhibitions, it was like rejuvenating. So we combined the images and the sensations of what success truly felt like to me, and I painted this whole picture of what I want my life to be like and what I expect it to feel, what my goals are. And then we combined it with the action and affirmation.
Yes. And then when she was at that point, remember, both hemispheres were still selling different things. This was eyes closed, what she envisioned. And so this is where we went into the hemispheric integration. So I asked her to temporarily bring that heavy thought or memory forward first. And then I asked her to theoretically, in her mind's eye, file it way far back in the recesses of her brain, like in a filing cabinet, where I asked her to put it in a folder, seal it, and lock it, but at the same time still retain the valuable information that she learned from the process that she went through. Because I don't want her to have to relearn stuff that she already knows. I don't want her to relearn the valuable lessons that got her this far. Because with each negative experience, there is always something positive, so always something valuable that we can learn from it. So I wanted those memories intact. So I said, file away the emotions that go with it, but bring with you the memories, the learning points, the skills, the valuable lessons that you learn, so that you don't have to relearn this all over again.
And for me, it didn't feel like I was bypassing those feelings either by filing them away. It didn't feel like I was just shoving them in a corner and not looking at them. It was there was a balance of recognizing these feelings were inside of me, holding space for them, and then just kind of gently reminding them that they don't have to be at the forefront of my mind and focus. Mm-hmm. So we filed them away, kicked them to the back, but took their lessons, and honestly I kept throughout the session. And when we did that, I also spoke to myself internally and just said, I see you, I know you're there, thank you for the information.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's just the reason why it's filed behind there, is so that it's tucked away and it doesn't have the power anymore to hurt you or hold you back like it did. So just that, it's there because our past is our past. We can't erase that. We have experiences from that, and we honor them because they helped us grow. They helped us learn something new. But I put it in a filing cabinet locked up so that it did not have the power anymore to hurt or obstruct or to block, to keep her from moving forward anymore. So with that tucked in there and her valuable information with her, now we brought back the image of that perfection for her, that bliss, that happiness, that so good feeling that you have when everything works for you. And I asked her to split it into 2 identical pictures. Now, one image became 2, and I asked her to put each image on either hemisphere of her brain. I tuck one to the left, tuck one to the right. And with that there, making sure that they were identical images that she was seeing, then click them together so that both images became one. So that, yes, the left and the right hemisphere both had the same wonderful, amazing, awesome picture in their head. And then with that, now seeing one vision, the best vision that she can vision for herself, we once again activated and magnified that sensation more than ever before. I counted to 5, and with each count, I asked her to intensify that feeling. And by the 5th one, the session was closed, and the results she'll be able to tell you.
Yeah, they've been juicy ever since. We've worked together a lot, and there's lots of limitations that come from doing this type of work with family members, right? Because it can get messy sometimes, but I think that this was just exactly what I needed. So with the amplification and just those feelings, you really asked me to tune into my imagination, kind of, but I felt like it was really there. And what it felt like to me was just like a future self meditation, but heightened like immensely. That's the best way that I can describe it, is just seeing like your possibility and your potential and living it, and then realizing that it's just a step away. And so everything that I've done since that session is to focus on realigning me with that path that I know that exists already because of that work. Mm-hmm. What was the purpose of, because when we heightened the emotion and we felt the sensation without any inhibitions, when we felt that, you asked me to do an action and you asked me to say an affirmation. And so for me personally, in my session, when I felt at my highest and purest, my action was to hug myself, and the affirmation that I said to myself was, I am fulfilled. And ever since then, you've told me to both do it when I'm down in the dumps and both do it when I feel fulfilled and when I feel ecstatic. And I've been doing that, it's been really helpful to kind of keep me on that path with clarity. What's the purpose of those 2 together?
Well, that's the purpose of that is to lock in and give you a memory in your brain as to what that sensation meant to you. So it's like a contact point. It's the purpose is to lock in. So when you do that, immediately those visions come into your head. So that's a reminder for you. Oh yes, I've reset. I have that, and that's why it was important to do it both when she felt down, because life is not perfect. There will be moments where you still feel like you're struggling. There will still be moments when you have a little bit of doubt creeps in, but that action, that locking in, triggers back that memory, and so it helps her bounce out of that state faster than if she mulled over it and allowed herself to ruminate in that state longer. So just that did it. It's the same way I asked her that whenever you're feeling in that wonderful state, then
when you're happy, when you're feeling fulfilled, when you're joyful.
Yes, do that again, because it's like adding fuel to your little tank so that you can use it anytime you feel down. And that's why I love NLP so much. In fact, it's become one of my really most favorite modalities, is because it really shows you like the power of the mind. And my wonderful mentor, he's Scottish, and who I learned from him, his name is Ali Campbell. His words were, you're only ever one thought away from a brand new perspective. and you're only ever one thought away from a brand new experience. So just by this method, it changed the way she looked at things so much, because, anchoring, that's what we call anchoring, when you lock in. That anchoring brought her right back into it. And so that immediately changed her experience. It immediately changed her outlook in life. It's not always perfect, but I would think you would say that there are less times that you feel yourself in that heavy negative state as compared to, there are more times that you feel more inspired or more positive, as opposed to, wallowing in self-doubt.
I think that it's been like a wonderful tool in my tool bank to be able to help scoop me out when I'm feeling that low. Like I'm spending less time ruminating and more time remembering that there's something that I'm working towards, and it's beautiful and it's wonderful and it's highly attainable. The way that I would describe this work is almost like this NLP session created like a lighthouse for me. And with this lighthouse, it illuminated this path for me to be able to walk towards that vision that I experienced through the work, which is why I find it so incredible, because you anchor into your authenticity and you speak it and you feel it into existence.
Yeah, so in a way, the NLP session reset the programming that was going on in her brain, that she was useless or worthless. So we didn't change it. It's still there, but it's not the forefront anymore. It doesn't cause as much hurt or pain or damage as it used to anymore, because we don't stay in that state for a long time.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I
You're
always
welcome.
appreciate you. Thank you for that session. And I'm going to link all of the ways that everyone can reach you in the information down below. Do you have anything you want to shout out before I close you off?
No, well, thanks for listening, and I hope that you all find your way towards becoming your most magnificent self, because it lives inside you, and all you have to do is really learn to let go of the thoughts that have been holding you back for so many years.
Okay, bye, Mom. You can also check out more of my mom on my podcast, Practical Alignment, which I'll also link below. Okay, thank you. Bye.